everyone! Welcome back to Nukeshot Media here on YouTube for the continuation of the ARS Fuji 2-hour weekend. Saturday qualifying here today, of course. We're going to have the GT500s out first, not too long from now actually, and followed by the GT300s. It's going to be very interesting to see who will come out on top. Interesting of note as well, I believe I've heard from him personally that CJ, one of the Lexus drivers you may recall from the practice stream yesterday, is unfortunately not able to make it for qualifying today, but will be there for the race. There should be quite a few more drivers that are able to make the race compared to both the qualifying and the practice. I of course am Nukeshot Zokeo, joined in the booth here today just by a glass of Ribena. No Hagee here today. He's on team radio duty with some of his co-drivers and such. The cars making their way out of the pits. 20 minutes going to be the time limit, as Joe, very close to crossing the wide line on pit exit there, had to correct himself there. So of course we did see yesterday that it was Swablo of Team TSR. Here he is, car 88, despite saying 79 on that graphic, so apologies for that. They were top of the timing sheets yesterday in practice. Going to be interesting to see if they can be top again today. Joe, a few tenths off the pace if I recall. It was still close between the two TSR teammates. Nevertheless, Swablo getting the best of Joe yesterday, but today is where it counts in qualifying. And I think I heard something about Swablo not feeling too well today, so that could cost him a bit of time. We'll have to see how that plays out. Seems to be okay at the moment. And of course, ARS Nugeshot here, the Lexus driver from Norway. Car 162 making their way around as well. We didn't see them on the Supersoft compound until now, so going to be interesting to see how it goes for them. Going to go on board here for the first lap of qualifying with the Joe 2 guy. So through the start-finish timing line they go towards TGR corner. Of course, 1.4 kilometers straight. Good entry and exit there, minimizing slide. We did see the GTLs be a little bit slippy yesterday. Nice through Coca-Cola as well, and now Toyota Pat 100R. Starting to learn the corner names a bit better. And the Yokohama hairpin. Yeah, gotta be careful with how wide you run here, as you can pick up some dirt on the tyres on the run down towards the Dunlop chicane. Another very tricky section to get right. It's very, very tight through here. Joe seeming to get this lined up quite well. Car appearing to be quite stable. Now on this uphill rise there you see Mount Fuji in the background of shot. Final corner, making their way onto the start-finish straight. What is the first lap time going to be from them? We're going to find out shortly. Joe makes their way towards the timing line. It's a 129.800. Swablo a 130.272. ARS Nugeshot making their way. Let's see what the Lexus can do. It's a 133.8. That's probably not quite representative there. So we'll probably see them improve a fair bit. So Joe is indeed top of the qualifying timing sheets at the moment. 4 tenths, nearly 5 tenths in hand over their teammate. Runs a fair bit wide over that exit. That might have just been all 4 wheels off the circuit. We're going to quickly check. It was certainly close. Just getting on the power. Yep. Just off. He's down on his time anyway. As Swablu catching up behind them. Gonna be interesting to see if the two TSR teammates slipstream each other. It's definitely been a valid tactic in plenty of championships in the past, especially on a track such as Fuji with such long straights. As Joe, are they coming into the pits? Indeed they are. So the tyres still holding up quite well, though I think he's just picked up a bit of dirt on them, as Swablu actually improves, getting closer to their teammate. So 129.831 for them. ARC Nugeti, I think they're still a little bit off pace, are they? In fact, they don't improve their time that time around. Here's the current live timing at the moment. So the Lexus is a little bit off the pace at this stage, but perhaps just still working out a couple mistakes here and there. Hello to TSR Wake in the chat, and hello to Brandon as well, of course, event organizer here today. Of course, is that ARC Nugeti? I've just been informed his wheel cable snapped, so apparently he's having to use a dual shock for the first time in a long time. Now you can have decent pace on a dual shock, but not if you're not used to it. It's a bit like me being slow on a wheel, I suppose. It takes a fair bit of getting used to. There you see twitchy inputs on the steering. Now will we see Swablu set time? No, he's into the pits himself. Interesting tactic. Again, I wouldn't think that the tyre wear would make too much of a difference at this stage, after only a couple laps. Nevertheless, getting it done. Making their way down towards Coca-Cola. Nice amount of cut there by the Joe 2 guy staying on the curbs. With regards to attendance, again, there should be more entries on race day itself. Of course, difficult for a lot of people to attend 3 days in a row. It's purple sector there for the Joe 2 guy, purple on his lap time. Good to see him extend the gap over Swablu a bit more. Swablu still on an outlap, of course they pitted last time around. Nugeti making their way through the Dunlop chicane. There they are. Nice yellow helmet there. Cool design. R162 making their way through. Onto the straight. Will we see Joe improve on their already top of the timing sheets time? I don't think so. No. 2/10 down in the end. Swablu way across the line to start their new lap. ARC Nugeti green in the last sector marker. Gonna see if they can improve. It's going to be an improvement for them. It's a 133.781, so still around 4 seconds off the pace, but of course handicapped a bit by having their wheel cable snap on such short notice as well. Joe 2 guy making their way down towards Dunlop. There you see the kind of braking force these cars have again. It's a fantastic area to see it as they navigate the slowest section on the circuit. Of course, let's have a look at the kind of late apexes that you need to achieve going here through GR Supra corner and Panasonic. Truly unique challenge to this particular racetrack here at the Fuji International Speedway. Good run onto the straight. It looks like he's going to pit again for tyres, I assume. And look, there's literally no tyre wear there at all. Maybe they're getting a bit cold or something, so it's switching to a set with had the tyre blankets on or something. That'd be my guess. Or it's just picked up some dirt somewhere. Well, I haven't seen anyone run off the circuit, so I'm really not sure about that. It's puzzling. ARC Nuggetti coming into the pits. Good stop there by the ARC crew. Back out on his way. Swablu goes a little bit wide there. Let's see, I think it was marginal. It's definitely a corner that you can carry a lot of speed through despite how tight it is, just because of the track width. Indeed, two wheels were still on that curb, so really pushing the limits, not stepping over them. Good work there by Swabler. Hello to only one in the chat, nice having you along, and CJ as well in the chat. Unfortunately not here for the qualifying, so that's going to put them towards the back of the GT500 field by default. Come tomorrow for race day. Swablu goes top of the timing sheets with a 129.484. That's 3/10 clear of their teammate, the Joe 2 guy. Joe unable to improve that time. I believe that was because they were on an outlap of sorts, were they? I believe so. It's on to a lap now anyway. So Swablu again has a few tenths over their teammate. .129s seeming to be the order of the day. I did think that pole could be a 128. Not quite down to that region as of yet. Just going to quickly see if we can check the fuel loads. Here you see around 3/4 of a tank. So the car's still quite heavy. If they were on a lower fuel, perhaps they could get into the 28s. Not seeming to be the case at the moment. Swablu, good exit onto the start-finish straight, going into the pits again. Avoids hitting the wall on pit entry. It is a bit strange seeing how often these guys are pitting. Makes you wonder the kind of budget the TSR guys have with having that many sets of tyres. Let's Joe go then. We have around 7 minutes to go in this particular qualifying session. If you're enjoying the action so far, be sure to leave a like on the stream and consider subscribing with the notification bell and all of that good stuff to be informed of when the next stream for tomorrow comes up, which is going to be race day, where we shall see quite a lot more drivers. Seemed a bit marginal again. I think Joe stayed within limits on that occasion. Swablu still top of the timing sheets. ARC Nuggetti making their way through sector 2. Oh, look at the slide there from the Lexus. Getting himself a bit crossed up. Gonna see that on a replay. Here it is on board. Yep, just listen to the tortured tyres. Really unsettled the car. On his way again. Again, still struggling to get used to that dual shock controller. Joe improves their time. It's not quite enough though. It was a 1:29.5, I believe. Or was it just a 1:24.6? Hold on. Yeah, it's close. There it is. So around a tenth or so in it between the two teammates. Swablu still has that slight edge, despite feeling a little bit ill today. Of course, hoping he feels a bit better soon. Five minutes left to go in the session. Joe braking heavily for the Dunlop chicane. Really having to maximize his lines here. Up the hill they go again. Oh, you can really hear the tortured tyres as they make their way through GR Supra corner. Will they be able to improve this time, or are they going to go into the pits for yet another set of tyres? I wouldn't put it past them at this rate. And indeed, that seems to be the case. So it seems to be the tyres last an out lap and one flying lap, and then they just come into the pits after that, as the team decides that they have lost their pace at that point. We've seen plenty of position changes in terms of on track because of the pit stops. Swablu leapfrogging Joe on this occasion, and when Swablu probably comes into the pits yet again, vice versa. Still be seeing some more times coming through shortly, without a doubt. At 1:32.7 for ARC Nugeti. I believe that's a gain of around a second or so. So a good effort by them there. Hello to John Wandering in the chat, saying nobody cares. Well, isn't that positive? Oh dear. So a little bit slidey as they make their way through Yokohama. ARC Nugeti going on board again with the Lexus. 5 viewers at the moment on stream. This stream being brought to you by Ribena, as indeed Swablu comes into the pits yet again. No doubt those two are on a team radio to each other. Here you see how much Nugeti is having to fight the car on the dual shot. So, closing stages of qualifying. Will Joe be able to improve and jump Swablu on the timing sheets? They're in equal machinery, of course. Equal team. That's Joe running a bit wide at Yokohama. Getting a bit crossed up. Gonna see that again on replay. That could put an end to that lap in terms of improving that time. There it was again. He's running too much over the curb. Bit of oversteer. Of course, further into the session, the more marbles that have been built up. Can we see some of the marbles, perhaps? They were quite prominent here around the last corner, last time around. In fact, it doesn't seem like there are any marbles here, so... Oh! And that's Joe! We've caught that on board! Messing up, he's heavy into the wall. That's going to be engine damage for them. I think that's their qualifying done and dusted. Let's see that one again. There it is. As Hagee mentioned the other day, that AstroTurf spits you out to that inside wall. You saw the banking on it as well. That is unfortunate for the Joe 2 guy. We don't often see him make mistakes like that. into the pits. He brings the car. He's not going to be able to get to the line at this rate after another outlap. So it's looking like Swablu has pole position on lock in GT500. Nugatti improves to a 132.541. Still around 3 seconds off the pace. Perhaps they'll be able to fix their rig by tomorrow though. At least I hope so, for their sakes. Of course, very difficult adapting to new machinery. Hello, Amuda in chat. Nice having you here as well, joining us. As everyone is indeed going to be on their last laps. Swablu. We mentioned how they were feeling ill earlier today. Doesn't seem to have affected them too much, as it seems they are going to get the pole position here today for the Fuji 2R in the GT500 category. Congratulations to them on a fantastic effort. And it seems like they're going to bring the car into the pits, are they? Are they staying that side of the line? Nope. They're going to just take the checkered flag in style. Congratulations to them on a fantastic qualifying session. Commiserations to the Joe 2 guy. One slip-up costing them, perhaps, the chance for that pole position. Having to settle for second place on this occasion. And ARC Nugatti coming across the line to take third in the session. TSR 1-2, Nissan 1-2, and the ARC Lexus in third. So we're not having the race now. I believe everyone is going to just exit the session after that. There are your times, and a 1:29.4 being the fastest from Swablu. 1:29.5 from the Joe 2 guy. And it's green, 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 and Joe was so... What on earth? Unbelievable scenes. So we're going to have a short break now, I believe, before the GT300 qualifying session gets underway, where we will be seeing the likes of Amuda, Only One, Roland Jupiter, CRN Pretorius, all taking part. Car 797 here of the CRN, or the Mark CRN car. John Wondering joining as well. Told you there'd be more entries as we get further into the weekend. Of course, more coming tomorrow for race day. So again, be sure to stay tuned on the channel to keep in touch with all of the latest info with regards to stream times and when they go up and such. Amuda making their way out of the pit lane. I don't believe the session's started yet, so they should stay in the pits. I don't think they're going to set a lap. They're slowing down. Indeed, being told that by the race director at the moment. Indeed, everything back to normal. So we've got a McLaren F1, we've got a BMW Z4, we've got another BMW Z4, that's the Arrows Racing Team LM Corsa design, a replica there of that majestic machine. We have another BMW, the M3, that actually took the best time late on in the session of the practice that we had yesterday. Car 33 of Only One, really showing they had a good pace, outpacing Pretorius in that session. So the BMW is looking quite strong, they've got good numbers. John Wondering there as well in the other McLaren, so both with the Golden Red Motorsports Ducati machines here. He's on the regular softs, so he'll have to switch to the supers if he wants to get the most pace out of that car. He's also going to have to go back to the pits as Amuda did. Proper good stuff there. Yep, back to the pits they go. Here we have the fan cams. Here, these are some of the guys sat on a hillside somewhere around the circuit as we now go back to the pits. Good seeing the fans out here in force, though social distancing being quite questionable. Also they're looking up in the stands as John Wondering, I believe, making their way out the pits as qualifying for the GT300s has indeed started. Hello to Swabble in the chat, congratulations to you on your pole position. So everyone now making their way out. The call for staying in the pits, I believe. Ah, okay. I think I've got things sorted out again. I just realised, did they manage to put an Autobacks decal on the windscreen wiper there? That was quite fancy. Fan cams again. There you see. Big up Jack Wilkinson. Although, could probably adjust the focus on that. Everyone's quite blurry. There we see. Fantastic attendance. Hey, there was Jack Wilkinson with the camera. Look at these guys, someone kneeling down, someone with their arms crossed, clearly not impressed. That guy with the black and red striped shirt. Look at this. Great attendance here today at the Fuji Speedway, as here you see the cars making their way down. That's CRN Rotorius leading the pack at the moment. So the two Z4s quite close together. We saw that Rotorius did have a good pace. It's going to be interesting to compare that to the pace of Roland Jupiter, Quinners as he's known on the channel. Perhaps those two, although not from the same team, because they're in the same car, same manufacturer, might want to be slipstreaming each other on their laps. They're certainly close together to do that. Amuda got some clear air at the moment. Car 54, Golden Bear Motorsports making their way up through the final sector. John Wondering there, car 53, although appearing 54 on our graphics. Apologies for that. And only one, car 33 appearing as 0. So on to the start-finish straight they go. Going to go on board for a lap with Rotorius on the super soft compound. Going to see how this goes for them. So across the line now, the lap starts. Making their way to the left, trying to get the maximum amount of angle for the entry into turn 1, TGR corner. Toyota Gazoo Racing, of course. The plunge down as they make their way towards Coca-Cola. Under the Audi bridge thing there. That sign. Perhaps not pushing quite as much through there. Just trying to get a banker lap in, perhaps at this stage. Oh, definitely so. Although I think that might be a deliberate lift just to keep his car to the right hand side as much as possible for the more important run here out of Yokohama, because it's a longer acceleration zone. Now down towards the Dunlop chicane there you go. Again, Dunlop sponsorship there. See some of the fans on the inside of the circuit. Mount Fuji in the background as well. Cars making their way up the hill. I think Quinners is actually starting to catch quite a bit here with Rotorius. And actually could be quite within slipstream range come this final corner, so that could really affect him. In fact, Rotorius deciding to back out of that, perhaps realising that he was giving Quinners the slipstream. wanted to make sure that wasn't the case, so he has a chance of beating him by getting less of an advantage. It's a 137.3 for Quinners, 139.8 for Latorius as they waited up, of course. Next across the line, Amuda, it's going to be a 140.2. So quite close actually to the rest of the field, closer than it was yesterday in practice, so good steps made by them. Only one goes second at this stage. Not too much faster than Retorius actually, as John Wandering goes a bit wide out of TGR over the AstroTurf as someone has spun actually. It is Retorius, and he's got damage. What's happened here? I'm gonna catch this on the replay footage if we can. Okay, oversteer over the curb, sliding into the wall. It's a very unusual one. Normally the car's moderately stable, perhaps just a bit upset. Can be like that if you're running a sharper balance. Nat West balance, you get me. Barclays balance. All the bank accounts. Shout out all the banks out there. For whatever reason, Retorius making their way through. They're probably going to have to repair that damage, but at least it's early in the session. 20 minutes, of course, total for the session. Much like the GT500s. Now, is Quinner's set to improve? We're going to see. Though it looks like they could be opting for a strategy we saw in the GT500. I think that might have been a complete cut of pit entry. I'm going to have to see that again. It looked close. Remember, you're allowed 2 wheels outside the white line, much like the track limits. Yep, all 4 off. That's more than likely going to be a telling off from the race director with that one, I'd a guess. Just making that mistake. Amuda coming out the pits after doing a similar strategy of going in. John Wandering improved their time to 142. Oversteer there for only 1. They make their way out of TGR corner. Amuda right behind them as well. Oh, fantastic engine notes there. I believe all of the competing cars actually have BMW engines. Fun fact. At least in this qualifying session, there might be some more on race day. But the McLarens, of course, having BMW V12 engines. Look at that shot. Here at Fuji Speedway, 4 cars all together. Someone's gone off the circuit. That's only one. Just trying to get out of the way, I think, of everyone else. Oh! What on earth happened there? Damage to Amuda. Did he just slow down in front of Retorius? What on earth was that? Engine damage for Retorius as well. Oh, miscommunications galore. What happened here? Okay, so these two are close. So only one goes off the circuit. And then Amuda just slams on the brakes. On the racing line. I don't know whether he didn't know where only one was going or something. Oh, that's really unfortunate. That could be a penalty of sorts for the GBM driver Amuda. If you are going to let a car by that sharply with applying the brakes, best to get off the racing line. John Wandering improves their time within 5/10 of their teammate. Given they weren't here for the practice session, that's really good pace for them. 1 minute 40.811 as 3 cars make their way into the pits. Did only one pick up damage from any of that? Nope. So they were just gonna change their tyres. There must be some logic to that. Still, at the moment though, Roland Jupiter, 2.1 seconds clear of everyone else in this session. We're nearing the halfway point. We're just past 8 minutes gone, around 12 minutes to go. An apology there from Amuda in the text chat. All of this kerfuffling is trying to play into the hands of Quinners a bit. Making their way across the line. It's another improvement, 137.262 for Quinners. Up by around 0.06 of a second. Good stuff by them. Now, who is that about to come across the line now? I believe it's John Wandering. Into the pits goes John Wandering. GBM crew going to work. Only one on an outlet. Going to be starting a lap shortly. Indeed, onto one now. I believe that John Wandering is going to be clear. Indeed, he's already passed. Although he's off the circuit, he's outbroke himself, and now he's being given blue flags. He is on an outlap still though, as only one goes a fair bit wide. Got to be careful again with the traffic. Is John Wandering going to get out of the way in a safe place? Yep, there you see. Bailing off the circuit. I'm just going to check this again. It looked like only one was pushing. I think it was right on the limits. A 10th up in that first sector. Ooh, that was close. That was close actually. Let's see it from another perspective. So making their way out TGR down under the Audi sign. It's going to be marginal. It's going to be very, very marginal. I think that's just millimeters in. I could be wrong on that. But the purple car was purple in Sector 1. I'm going to see if they can set a faster time this time around. It's not going to be enough for pole. It is an improvement though of 0.2 of a second. And still Quinners at the top of the timing sheets, as Retorius actually goes second fastest with a 139.147, Amuda 140.078. That puts them fourth at this moment. So absolutely insane pace early on here for Quinners. And we know that these other drivers aren't pushovers. So to have this kind of pace is very much intriguing. Of course, there is the custom balance of performance to factor into that. 2Z4's at the top of the standings, although a lot closer with Retorius to only one. It just seems that Quinn is on a bit of a madness at the moment. Amuda making their way through the final sector. And the car does seem a lot more stable than we saw yesterday in practice, so it seemed that they have improved that a fair bit. Only one improves quite drastically. That's a 138.6. Retorius 138.7. Can't get faster than that. So the M3 goes into second place. Blowing brake discs there as they make their way through turn 1. It was extremely heavy braking zone. And the Group 3 cars getting up to around 165 miles an hour, around 168 or 9 for the McLarens on the end of that straight, due to the balance of performance. And slowing that all the way down. requires a lot of energy from the brakes. Quinner's going to be bailing for the pits, it would seem. 6 minutes 30 seconds to go in the session. Still top of the sheets. Winners. Seem they got the pit entry right that time. Fantastic engine noise as well. Sounding like a thunderstorm. Speaking of which, there have been thunderstorms currently where the studio here at Nukeshot Media is located. I say studio, I mean my second bedroom. But oh dear. But yeah, surprisingly, it seems to have helped the internet, because things seem to be okay at the moment. Because lowering on fuel, of course, so that means that the pace will continue to quicken. Winner's still quite fueled up. I was just crossed my mind that perhaps he did a bit of fuel burning, which might have led to the insane kind of pace he had quite early on in the session, if his car was a fair bit lighter, but no. Very much seems to be doing it legit. I wonder if he's setting consistently faster times. I'm just gonna see if I can catch some of this data. Here you see second and third are swapping around a little bit. Some more of the data provided by Polyphony Digital. Roland Jupiter making their way onto a new lap. Rotorius last to make an improvement. In fact, they seem to have... Oh, what on earth happened there? See John Wandering getting out of the way of Rotorius on that occasion, but Rotorius now ahead of only one. Just gonna see the onboard of this. It looked like it got a little bit close between the McLaren and the Z4. There you see going off the racing line and bailing. I don't know if John Wandering himself was on a lap actually. No, he couldn't have been because he just got into the pits, as has Rotorius, ironically enough. And it seems that the Z4's burning fuel a fair bit faster than the McLaren. Around 5 litres the difference as... Oh! That seemed to be a cut of the pit exit line from Rotorius. I'm gonna quickly see... Yep. He could be pinged by the stewards for that one. We've got to respect not only the track limits, but also the pit entry and exit lines as well. It'll be especially crucial when it comes to the race as well. Potential penalties. Again, look at that fantastic camera shot. Quinners improves again. That's a 137, 137, 137, 137. What are the chances of that? He's going to be changing that to his new racing number at that rate. Just under 3 minutes to go in the session, so things closing out shortly. Quinners still top of the timing sheets, 1.3 seconds in hand. Rotorius in second at the moment in the other Z4. Only one in the M3, doing a very, very good job. I believe it's a slightly older machine actually. I know at the Nürburgring has actually only one improves their time to a 138.6, not quite enough to jump Rotorius. But yes, at the Nürburgring 24 hours, the M3 here was actually used by the Works teams in 2011, and then the Z4 replaced it in 2012. Rotorius closing up. You can see how on the edge they are. A bit of contact between the two of them. That's damage! That's damage between these two. gonna have to see this. Flash of the lights. What on earth happened here? Well, there was the original contact. Wait, apologies, hold on. Oh, and what on earth? So, onion barges between these two. What on earth is happening here? And then he lost it by himself. That was very strict. I got scared there for a second, thinking that could have been retaliation. But the good thing there was it wasn't. It just seemed to be some kind of, I don't know, mechanical failure or something. That was really odd. Not too long in the session to go now. Only one crossing the line. Still with that damage though. It's going to be difficult for them to improve with that. Bermuda currently 7 tenths ahead of their teammate. Time has pretty much expired on that. With Rotorius in the pits and the only one with that damage, it's looking like Quinners could be the one taking the pole position, quite comfortably so, with a 1.3 second gap over the rest of the field. They cross the line and they improve again. Oh, what? A 136.8? Are you mad? Okay, that's quite impressive there. I know there's the BOP difference, but there's another Z4. So what on earth? I don't think there's been like a corner cut or anything, so that's just impressive. The two McLarens making their way through the final sector. I believe only one is going to cross the line shortly. Don't think they're on track for an improvement. Indeed not. They come across the line. It's going to be third place for them in this qualifying session. Amuda, green in that last sector. Could they improve? With teammate John Wandering weaving behind them. Looks like they've given up on improving. It is quite an improvement as well. 139.583 for Amuda in the end. And John Wandering finishes the session in the 1 minute 40s, I believe. Maybe 141s. But again, since they missed the practice session yesterday, they were on the pace moderately quickly, but of course Amuda would have the advantage with regards to that. And Rotorius, of course, retiring to the pit lane. They saw actually quite a few infringements, perhaps, throughout the GT300 qualifying session. With regards to track limits, had a bit of contact here and there. Nevertheless, it's going to be Quinners on provisional pole anyway. That pretty much concludes the qualifying session broadcast here today on Nukeshot Media for the ARS Fuji 2-hour special event. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for what is going to be a fantastic race. More cars on the grid, of course. Multi-class Magnus. Going to be the first time seeing both categories on the track. What am I saying? The first time seeing them on the track at the same time. We saw that in practice. First time in a competitive sense seeing them at their full pace on track together. Going to be interesting to see how that works out. So, from all of us here at Nukeshot Media, that pretty much concludes the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe with the notification bell on in order to be informed as to when the next stream goes up. And of course, leave a like if you have enjoyed the stream as well. But from all of us here at Fuji International Speedway, it's goodbye from us.